But I'm thinking here that based off their performances, obviously we only have to base some of them off of what we saw in the week one of the finals, and then what we saw in some one and then the second round here. But the first team that I'm gonna put or out, let's start with 4-1 for the Geelong Cats, and obviously it's not because any of these teams are bad. They're all great teams. That's why they're the last four teams remaining. But I just feel like Geelong has the best potential to kind of lay a stinker, if I'm being honest, when it comes to these last possible couple games here. Next up, I have the Western Bulldogs, who've definitely taken back the reins on their season. They finished very poorly, but now they look as good as ever and as strong as they ever did during the regular season. So they're right there. Of course, Donnie's contending team, his pick for the Granny. I got Port Adelaide coming in number two because your offense is solid, their midfield looks very well rounded, and their defense is there to be able to back them up. But given what we saw from Melbourne in the round one of the finals this season, with they just shut down every question that someone could have for them, and they looked like that team with that shutdown with that lockdown defense, and they even had the offense to boot. So if they're able to keep it up, they're going to be running away with this grand final essentially. With the defense like that, with an offense like that, it's very, very hard to compete with. And they're looking the best right now, Donnie. But ultimately, I gotta say that the Western Bulldogs are the scariest team of the comp.
Oh boy, an interesting group there. So here's my four
Mm-hmm.
weakest to strongest, 4-1, and then my scariest team. Number four, I have the Western Bulldogs. I think the Cody Waitman injury is going to affect him in this round. I think they are the most vulnerable team
Mm.
of the two lower seeds of between them and the Cats. That's vulnerable going in to this preliminary final round. I have the Cats number three. The Tom Stewart injury, I think, may become a glaring omission injury here against Melbourne because of the height and ability of some of the forward line of the D's. But
Mm-hmm.
I will caveat this: if the D's play better than they did last time, I don't think it'll be as interesting a game this week. But the Cats know they dominated the last time these two teams played and they let it slip.
Mm-hmm.
Will they make an adjustment? How will they make an adjustment? So on and so forth. I have the D's at two because, again, they have the tougher matchup of the two
They
in
do.
this round. I go by the Cats are more dangerous than the Doggies just by
Mm.
looking at it by form, by what they're bringing in, by lack of injuries, everything like that, and the fact that the Cats nearly beat the D's just a few short weeks ago
Yeah.
in round 23, 3 weeks ago. So the D's come out and play better? If they
Mm.
do, I think they win. I think they win this game. They get themselves to the granny for sure. But the Cats are never easy.
No.
Chris Scott always gets them up. We'll have to see. This is out in Perth, so it'll be fascinating to see what's the fan differentiation. How many D's? How
Oh
many
man, I'm
Cats
excited
supporters?
for the news coming out with the tickets where it's gonna be
It's
packed.
sold out,
Oh man, it's so
sold
good.
out,
I'm so
a
excited for the
packed.
atmosphere. Sold out Optus Stadium
It,
for a preliminary final.
and a Friday night game is going to be
Oh,
absolutely
it's so good.
magnificent. And then I number one, I have Port because
Mm.
that last round performance against these Cats was spectacular.
Yes, it
That
was.
was the Port I expected. That was the Port I saw from last year. That was the
Mm-hmm.
Port that, as I said in the preview show, if they play their best footy, they are darn near impossible to stop offensively and defensively with Alir and Houston and McKenzie. They are hard to score on too. They are going to be very, very good. And no Cody Waitman, a
Mm-hmm.
Bontempelli that could not be 100%. They have a very good shot of knocking the doggies off and getting to a granny
Yes, they
in
do.
Perth. And if Orazio Fantasia is healthy, they are
Oh,
fully healthy because it sounds like Georgiades should be back. They're going to
good.
be full strength going into this game. That is
Scary
a
defense,
scary
man. That's
proposition,
so
which
scary.
transitions to my scariest team because I think it's the Port Adelaide
Mm.
Power because they're healthy. If you really look at it, Dougie's Cody Waitman's injured. Geelong Cats, Tom Stewart's out. The D's they're relatively healthy, but they've been unimpressive at times
Hmm.
forward of the footy. Port Adelaide is playing the best footy of these four right now. Port Adelaide is playing the best footy from the previous few rounds in and the previous rounds in the home and away. So I think the scariest team and the best team is the Port Adelaide Power, not only because of the great matchup with the Western Bulldogs, but they could be humming going into that grand final, even with the week off.